I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Hi there, hello, and welcome to Mando Theory. Today we'll be talking about lightsabers and how they're made. This will be a longer video, so we'll be talking about this in sections. Timestamps down below in the description, so if you want to skip ahead to a specific part, because that's what you're interested in learning about today, that'll be fine, just go to that at the right time. So, the first thing we'll be talking about is the construction of a lightsaber. Anyone can build a lightsaber. It's really hard though, and requires lots of concentration and knowing exactly where the parts go. It will take days or weeks sometimes without someone without the Force to be able to build this. And then they have to steal a kyber crystal from someone else's lightsaber. Because you can't get a kyber crystal unless you have the Force. Unless it's chosen you on the planet Ulam, which is where the Jedi gather their kyber crystals. Otherwise it melts into water. If you have the Force, you just meditate, and as you're meditating, all the pieces just rise up and form into the lightsaber. If it's your first time, you have to try multiple times to get this to work. Otherwise, your lightsaber might explode, so you take it apart after you're done every single time and reform it multiple times to make sure you have it done correctly. Lightsabers are actually not made of light, as lots of people think. They're actually plasma blades with energy rays around them, keeping them in shape. They can come in all sorts of different shapes. There's like light whips, there's a light axe, there's pretty much any weapon you can think of. The Jedi and Sith have found a way to turn it into a lightsaber weapon type. George Lucas had originally intended to call lightsabers laser swords, like you hear the sequels say a lot. So they're wrong, but George Lucas originally thought that too, which I think was pretty interesting to talk about. The hilt of the lightsaber can be made of any material, but it's normally made of strong blast-resistant materials like wood or hardwoods mainly, or nice new metal. But it can be made of anything. But it has to be able to stick together, and it has to be strong enough it can last for years. There are some lightsabers and legends that are made out of parts of an old scrap speeder. So it doesn't matter what the lightsaber is made out of, it will still function as a lightsaber. And in the bottom of the hilt, lightsabers have a power pack, or battery pack, that can last up to 3 years of regular use. So that's how they always get into power. The crystal doesn't power it. The crystal harnesses the energy in the plasma rays and forms them into a single beam, which then the energy rays shield up and make it so it doesn't just splop and splatter all over the ground. Instantly you ignite it, and you don't. Just sear holes in yourself from flying drops of plasma. The Sith actually invented lightsabers, and the original invention was called the proto-saber. They were really dangerous, and only the Sith used them, until the Sith perfected them over hundreds of years. The proto-saber worked. You had your regular lightsaber, but it was connected to a cord that the power ran through. That was either attached to your waist or attached to a backpack. If the cord was cut, your lightsaber exploded, and you lost your hands, and you were put out of the fight, and you could only use the Force then, which nullified a lot of the Sith, because they were not as strong as the Force as they could have been, because they focused more of their time into saber skills. Over time, the Sith perfected how to make lightsabers and turned them into what we know today. Originally, the Jedi were using metal swords. That's what the Sith were using too, until one of them invented the proto-saber. And the metal swords, the Jedi were at a huge disadvantage for a couple hundreds of years, where the Sith had the proto-sabers. Because the proto-sabers could cut right through any of the metal swords that the Jedi were using. Because the Jedi did not lace their swords with cortosis or make them out of Beskar. Because Beskar was a really rare material, and hadn't been discovered then. And cortosis, there's not enough of that in the universe to lace every single blade with. The mana guards have that at the ends of their staves, so they can use those to effectively fight Jedi or rogue Sith, assassins like Ventress, which is how they use them to survive for such long periods of time. Kyber crystals could choose the color of what lightsaber you're getting, but this wasn't always the way it worked. In the old legends, it was made so that the Old Republic Jedi Temple had piles of each of the main colors of crystals, which were the Sith had red synthetic crystals that they made in a furnace. Darth Maul actually had to sit in a furnace for almost 3 weeks in the burning heat, building a crystal out of ashes and everything, turning into a Kyber crystal, without food and only sustaining his life through the Force. He was very proud of it. That was the only apprentice City Seat made do that. He gave the rest of his apprentices their crystals. The Jedi had blue, green, white, orange, purple, yellow, and black. There are also many variations of all these colors, but those are the basic colors that the Jedi had. The Jedi had piles of blue, green, orange. They didn't have purple, yellow, and nobody knows how the Darksaber got its black color. I tried finding it, but I couldn't find anything for a reason on that. And the reason they didn't have purple was because there were not very many Jedi Masters or Knights that used the color purple lightsaber. Green means really strong with the Force. Blue means you'll know a lot of lightsaber skills. And orange means you're really good at both, or the Kyber crystal changes hands a lot, which is why the temple guards our blades are all orange, because they have these lightsabers, or light staves as they're known, that they share between groups of them. As it works now during the Republic, and from then on, each Jedi had to gather their own crystal, and the crystal chose the color of how the Jedi was. So if a Jedi was really skilled in the Force, like Yoda, the crystal changed green. If a Jedi was really good with lightsaber skills, the crystal went blue. And also, if you could also somewhat make your blade be your own color by mixing the crystals you have in your hilt. Because oftentimes you require more than one crystal to make a lightsaber, just to power it and give it enough places to harness the energy. And the length of your blade can also be adjusted, same as the color and the power. So lightsabers are really customizable. Almost no two lightsabers are the same unless they're trying to make the same. So you can adjust them. So basically what you can customize is the design of the hilt, the materials of the hilt, the color of the blade, the length of the blade, and the power of the blade. Though you shouldn't mess with the power of the blade too much, because otherwise it'll drain through battery packs. And if you don't charge those enough, you could run out of it during a mission and quite possibly die. There's also some interesting Star Wars news this week. Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor are both coming back to Star Wars to play Anakin and Obi-Wan, and Darth Vader for Christensen, in the Obi-Wan show. I'll see you next time. Mando Theory, out.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.